So first things first, I just want to say good morning, good afternoon, or good night, no matter when you watch this video. I do wish you the best. So let's start off the video with a blessed image before I get underway of talking about what I want to talk about. So, My Dress-Up Darling. It is a series I think all of us have definitely heard about from this anime season. It's easily one of the most popular anime from this anime season, if we're not counting, let's say, Attack on Titan, and also Demon Slayer that actually recently finished. But the point, though, is that My Dress-Up Darling has been making a lot of waves in the community. There's been a lot of, fan furies, there's been a lot of discussion, there's been some controversy, which I'm going to talk about some of that, and then there's been a lot of just good fan art, etc. from the series. And one of the things I want to actually talk about is actually the fan service, because I feel like this is something that many people have been gravitating towards and talking about when it comes to discussions of My Dress-Up Darling. So let's just dive headfirst into it. Is My Dress-Up Darling full of fan service? Yes, it does have some fan service. You would be wrong to say it didn't. You would be wrong or be lying to say it did not have fan service in its episodes. However, I feel like many that have not, let's say, sat down to actually watch the show don't actually understand that there is more to it than actually fan service. Yes, there's a lot of anime out there that have, like, excessive amount of fan service that really detract away from the story, the plot, and you lose interest, because it's like the fan service overtakes the actual story. It's one of the most annoying things when it comes to fan service within an anime series. I 100% have talked about this many times in the past. So I do understand the plight of some people saying it's just fan service, but that's actually not what My Dress-Up Darling is. And I want to kind of like lay out some talking points, main reasons why this series has so much more going for it than just fan service, and I hope everybody gets a better understanding of why this series is actually doing so well and is popular, and it's not just because of fan service on the reason why people are actually, watching said story. So if you've been watching My Dress-Up Darling, as you all know, the story is about, Marin Kitagawa that, wants to cosplay. And our main character, Gojo, he is someone that, wants to make Hina dolls, and eventually he gets roped into making clothing for Marin's cosplay. So that's pretty much the main gist, the main, I guess, synopsis you can kind of get if you were to do a quick read online of what My Dress-Up Darling was actually about. However, like I said, there is so much more going on there than just that, because people probably will assume, oh, because it's cosplay, it means that it's just going to have a lot of fan service, because you're going to have characters, or, Marin in outfits that are very revealing and give a lot of fan service. And yes, there will probably be occasions like that, but there's more meaning going on with the relationship between the two characters. So let's dive headfirst into it. As we know, Gojo as a character, he's someone that has a hobby or something he wants to do, for instance making Hina dolls, that many would look at and think, that's kind of weird. Like, let's be legit. Let's be 100, throw aside memes, jokes, etc., and let's be legit. Let's just say you had a fascination for making Hina dolls, and you depending on your circumstances, where you live and all that, people probably would look at you like, huh? They'll be like, you're making dolls? And, like, that's the impression people would get. They would. A lot of people probably would give you that type of look, and they'd think you're weird, etc. And Gojo obviously has a hobby or something he's into that he can't really talk about. And there's definitely a lot of people out there I feel like have some hobbies, maybe if it comes to anime, maybe they just can't talk about anime or manga or certain things. And obviously nowadays it's a little bit more accepting. The world's more accepting to, let's say, talking about anime and manga to people, but like 10, 12 years ago, it was not like that. It was not the same type of culture that we're now in, where you could just straight up talk about anime and manga to anyone and all that, and they kind of know what the general premise of, let's say, what Demon Slayer is, or Attack on Titan, etc. So that's the point I'm trying to make is that Gojo's hobby is someone that can't really express what he enjoys with others. So it caused him to be an outcast. It caused him to be secluded from others within his social group. And so he grew up constantly, not making friends. Not because he didn't want friends, or that he was necessarily a loner, or even a shut-in. He was just someone that, he realized his hobby was not something everybody would be interested in, and he didn't want to deal with the emotional flack that he was into something that would be considered technically weird, because that was his hobby. And it's kind of sad, honestly, because, you know, that type of trauma, what was going on with Gojo, is probably something that happens to a lot of people, where they just shut up and don't ever talk about something they're into because they had one bad experience in their life. They just shut everything off. Which, this is where the story kind of opens up that it's not just fan service. With Kitagawa Marin, our main female character, you know, how she jumps into Gojo's life, she, you know, invigorates his life to where he's actually able to express what he loves, his passion, and not feel like he needs to cage himself up and not talk about what he's actually into. And that's what makes My Dress-Up Darling so good, is because it's a very relatable story for a lot of people, I feel like. However, if you can't relate to certain situations or understand Gojo's plight, then I understand why some might not like the story. But it's definitely not just fan service on the reason to why My Dress-Up Darling is so popular. Because there's just a lot of good. There's a lot of good interactions, a lot of wholesome interactions between the two characters of Marin and Gojo. For instance, the recent episode that came out with the beach scene, there was a lot of moments there that was incredibly amazing, especially just seeing the interactions between the two characters and just seeing how they were just chilling on the beach and all that. It's just, there's beautiful moments in it. There's a lot of character building and immersion within the story, and one of the big things I think that many people sit down to watch anime for as well is to be immersed, to be able to just go into a new world and just, you know, get immersed in what they're currently watching. At least, that's what I like to do. I like to imagine, you know, I'm really just there watching these characters doing what they're doing. That's what I do when I sit down to watch anime. Maybe there's not a lot of people that are like me when it comes to that regard, but I really do think that the general consensus, the controversy I have been seeing around My Dress-Up Darling and saying, or people saying that it's just fan service, is just factually wrong. It's completely wrong, because like I said, there's so much more. There really is. And I feel like people that are just saying that have not actually watched the show. They've probably seen fan art, or they probably have just seen certain images and clips that were posted online, and that's about it. Obviously, there's going to be a lot more vocal people talking about the fan service, but there's so much more to the story. And so, if you're one of those individuals that, like, have not actually watched the series and you're watching this video, I really do recommend it. It's a good slice of life, but if you're not into slice of life stories, you're not going to probably like My Dress-Up Darling, I'm just gonna say. But I will tell you, in terms of cliches, etc., it does skirt around that. It doesn't have many cliches whatsoever, and I wanted to kind of get this video out there, because I keep seeing it. I keep seeing it in the comment section, people talking about like that, like saying it's just fan service. I keep seeing people talk about it online on social media. I wanted to make a brief video really just diving into this topic and kind of just getting it out there that there's just so much more. There's so many other points that probably people in the comment section will point out as well, to where it's not just fan service. But I will leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed my video, you know, please leave me a like. It does help me out a lot. And if you want to see any more of my content appear in your subscription feed, then, you know, please subscribe. And if you want to get notified for whenever my content uploads, please click that bell icon down below. And with that, guys, be safe, stay healthy. Chibi out.